Hello, welcome back. Today I'm going to show a tutorial of how to make this cute little Grinch style stuffed toy. This toy was something that I made just kind of spare the moment for my kid a couple years ago, so it's been rotating through our toy box and has been washed a few times, and he's a little bit beat up by now, but has held up fairly well considering he's gone through 2 toddlers now. Alright, so to make this project, we are going to need worsted weight yarn for each of the colors shown. I believe this color here is the Limelight from Hobby Lobby. They also sell a key lime color, which I believe is pretty similar in color, so depending on what they have in stock, you can kind of play around with that. Then we're using just a regular white yarn and a regular red yarn. For all 3 of those colors, I chose the I Love This Yarn brand at Hobby Lobby, and it's just got such a soft texture to it that I've kind of stuck with it for this project. So we'll go ahead and set him off to the side. To start this project, we're going to go ahead and grab our green yarn, Limelight Green, and we will be starting with a magic ring. If you don't know how to do a magic ring, there are tutorials all throughout YouTube. I also have one on my channel as well. So we're chaining 1, and we're going to put 6 single crochets into this magic ring. There we go. And I'm using a size H hook, which I guess translates to approximately a 5mm hook. So I'm going to go ahead and count back so that I can find my first stitch. Slip stitch into that first stitch, chain up 1. I'm going to cinch that down a little bit. And then what I like to do when I'm working a magic ring is I'll actually take this tail and carry it with for the next round or 2 so that it helps hold that closed. So for round 2, we're going to go ahead and put 2 single crochets into each. So we have 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10, 11 and 12. So there's 12 stitches. Go ahead and slip stitch into the first stitch from that round. Chain up 1. And then for round 3, we're actually just going to put 1 single crochet in each. So we're going to have 12 stitches again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Go ahead and slip stitch. Chain up 1. For round 4, we're doing 1 single crochet in each stitch again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Go ahead and slip stitch and chain up 1. For round 5, we're going to be doing some increases again. So we're going to put a single crochet in the first stitch and then a single crochet increase for the second stitch there, and do that all the way around. So we have 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8 and 9, 10, 11 and 12, 13, 14 and 15, 16, 17 and 18. Go ahead and slip stitch to the beginning of that round, chain up 1, and then rows 6, 7, and 8 will just have 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around, and that's for all 3 of those rounds. So you're going to have 18 stitches in each of the rounds. First stitch, there we go, chain up 1, do round 12, okay, now before you slip stitch for this part, we are actually going to do a color change now that we've finished round 12. So put your hook in as if you're about to do your slip stitch, and then approximately 2 to 2.5 inches from where your hook is, you're going to cut that string. Ooh, my scissors are spinning today. All right, we're going to switch to the color white. And I like to just kind of put that hook as close to the project as possible while still keeping it in the project. And then tie my new color on. Tighten that down a little bit. And then go ahead and do your slip stitch, and that'll make it so that that loop will be the correct color for this round. So go ahead and chain up 1. For round 13, we are going to put 1 single crochet in each. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we are going to do another color change. We're going to be switching to the color red. So go ahead and do the same process. Put your hook through as if you're about to do your slip stitch. Hold it in place for a little bit. Cut the white. Tie on the red. Tighten that. And I always leave my tails a little bit longer and just hide them in the project, because I have actually had a couple different people ask for my help in repairing projects where they trimmed the tails too short. So I prefer to leave them just a little bit longer, just to prevent any possibility that they're going to come untied. So chain up 1, and for this round we are going to be doing some increases again. So we're going to put a single crochet in this one, and then a single crochet increase in the next, and we're going to do that all the way around. So we have 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and, oh, sorry, there's a hair there, 6, there we go, 7, 8, and 9, and then we're going to go ahead and slip stitch, chain up 1, and then for rounds 15 and 16 it will be 1 single crochet in each. So that is the end of round 16. Go ahead and slip stitch, chain up 1. You should still have 9 stitches going currently. For round 17, we'll be doing another increase. So we're doing a single crochet in the first stitch, and then a second single crochet in the second stitch, and then a single crochet increase in the third stitch. So that's going to look like 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So we've got 12 stitches. Go ahead and slip stitch, chain up 1. For round 18, we're putting 1 single crochet in each stitch for a total of 12. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's the end of round 18. Go ahead and slip stitch, chain up 1. For round 19, we're doing another increase. We're going to put a single crochet and then a single crochet increase and do that all the way around. So we have 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8 and 9, 10, 11 and 12, 13, 14 and 15, 16, 17 and 18. Slip stitch, chain up 1. We're going to put 1 single crochet in each for this round for a total of 18 stitches again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Slip stitch, chain up 1. For round 21, we're doing another increase. For this round, we're going to be putting a single crochet, and then a single crochet increase all the way around. 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. That's the end of round 21. Go ahead and slip stitch, chain up 1. We're going to do another increasing round. So we're going to have 3 single crochets followed by an increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. That's the end of round 22. I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch. Chain up 1. For round 23, we're going to do another increasing setup. So we're going to have 4 single crochets and then an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36. So that's the end of round 23. And then round 24, we will be doing 1 single crochet in each, as well as round 25. So the next 2 rounds, we're going to have 36 stitches in each, and it's still done in the red color. So go ahead and do those. So that's the end of round 25. We're going to be switching to the white again. So we're going to go ahead and put our hook through, trim the red, attach the white, tighten that, and now we're going to do our slip stitch. Chain up 1, and we are doing some decreases this round, so we will be having 4 single crochets followed by a decrease. So 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, decrease for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, decrease for 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, decrease for 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, decrease for 30. And then we will be doing another color change, so go ahead and put your hook through, but do not do that slip stitch yet. Cut the white. We are now going to reattach our green. This is going to make it so that he has a nice little green bottom there. Now that we have our green attached, go ahead and do the slip stitch. Chain up 1. And for this round, we will be doing some decreases. So we will be doing 3 single crochets followed by a decrease. 1, 2, 3. Decrease for 4, 5, 6, 7. Decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, decrease for 24. Go ahead and slip stitch. Chain 1. For round 28, we will be doing decreases again. For this round, we will have 2 single crochets followed by a decrease. So we have 1, 2, decrease for 3, 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, 8, decrease for 9, 10, 11, decrease for 12, 13, 14, decrease for 15, 16, 17, decrease for 18. Go ahead and slip stitch. So we've chained up the one, but we still need to stuff this before we go any further. Usually when I have a project that I'm stuffing, I usually try to start stuffing the project pretty close to full by the time I hit about 18 stitches, give or take, depending on the pattern. That's just my rule of thumb when it comes to being able to stuff it but not have to work through the project for a long period of time with stuffing kind of getting in the way. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of pull our loop out a little bit so that it's out of the way. We're going to tuck our stuffing in. We're going to do just a little bit more so that it has a little bit bigger of a belly. All right. Do the squish test. Seems all right. Put our hook back in. And then we are on round 29. For round 29, we're doing a single crochet followed by a decrease all the way around. We have 1, decrease for 2. Goodness, my hook is all squeaky now. 3, decrease for 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, decrease for 8, 9, decrease for 10, 11, decrease for 12. Go ahead and slip stitch. Chain up 1. And for the last round, round 30, we're going to do a decrease in each. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then our slip stitch. I'm going to go ahead and finish this off. So trim your tail anywhere from about 8 to 12 inches. Pull it through. So that's the body most of the way done. We just have to weave in a tail. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my yarn needle. And for cinching this down, usually what I like to do is I start towards the center and work my way outwards. And I only go through the outside half of this stitch. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Cinch it down. And then I like to tie this off as if I am doing regular sewing. Stick that through the loop, tighten it down, stick it through the loop that created, tighten that down. I usually do that about 2 or 3 times. Pull it through, and then we're going to go ahead and poke that back in and hide it in our work. And I like to find an actual stitch to poke it through. Pull it out just a little bit further than it wants to go. Trim it close. And then when you straighten out your project, it should be pretty nicely hidden in there. So that is the body. Next we will be starting on the arms and the legs. To start the arm, we're going to go ahead and grab our green yarn again. We're going to make a magic ring, chaining up 1, putting 4 single crochets in the center of the ring. Cinch that down, slip stitch to the beginning, chain up 1, and now we're ready for round 2. Round 2, we're doing a single crochet followed by an increase. And then another single crochet followed by an increase. That gives us a total of 6 stitches for round 2. Go ahead and slip stitch. Oops. And I will warn you, for the hands and the feet of Mr. Grinch, it is kind of a tight area that you're working into, so take your time and make sure that you actually get both parts of each stitch. So there's our slip stitch, chain up 1. Now we're ready for round 3. Round 3, we are doing a single crochet followed by an increase all the way around. So we have 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to go ahead and just tuck that tail back there now. 7, 8, and 9. So that's the end of round 3. Round 4, we are putting 1 single crochet into each. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. For round 5, we will be doing some decreasing. We're going to do a single crochet followed by a decrease, and we're going to do that all the way around. So we have 1, decrease for 2, 3, decrease for 4, 5, decrease for 6. Once you're done with that, we're going to be doing a color change, so go ahead and insert your hook, but do not do your slip stitch yet. We're going to be switching to white for the cuff of his sleeve. Now we're going to go ahead and slip stitch, chain up 1. We're going to be doing a single crochet followed by a decrease, and then another single crochet followed by a decrease. So we have 1, decrease for 2, 3, decrease for 4. Go ahead and insert your hook, but we are doing another color change, so do not do the slip stitch yet. Trim the white yarn. We are switching to our red yarn. Pull a slip stitch through, and then with the red yarn we will be doing 40 stitches done in a spiral, so you won't have to slip stitch and chain up each round. You'll just keep on going for the next 40 stitches. So there we have our 40 stitches. We are now going to continue in the spiral, but do a couple increases. So we have a single crochet, followed by an increase, another single crochet, followed by an increase. Then we have 2 single crochets, 1, 2, followed by an increase, and then another 2 single crochets, 1, 2, followed by an increase. Then go ahead and slip stitch to the very next stitch. Finish off leaving approximately, say about a 12-inch tail for sewing it on. So there is the arm. We're going to set that aside. Grab our green yarn again and start on the leg. For the leg, you're going to start the same way that you did for the arm with a magic ring. Chaining up 1, and putting 4 single crochets. Cinch that down, slip stitch to the beginning, chain 1. For round 2, we are doing a single crochet followed by an increase. We're doing that sequence 2 times. We have 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6. Slip stitch to the beginning of the row, chain up 1. For round 3, we are doing a single crochet followed by an increase and doing that sequence 3 times. So we'll have 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6, tuck the tail back, 7, 8 and 9. Slip stitch. That's the end of round 3. For round 4, we are putting 1 single crochet into each stitch. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Go ahead and slip stitch. Chain up 1. For round 5, we are doing some decreases. We're going to do a single crochet followed by a decrease and doing that sequence 3 times. So we have 1, decrease for 2, 3, decrease for 4, 5, decrease for 6. Go ahead and slip stitch. Chain up 1, and then we're going to do some decreases again. So we have a single crochet followed by a decrease and another single crochet followed by another decrease. We're going to slip stitch to that first stitch there, chain up 1, and then for the next 32 stitches we're going to be working in a spiral. So there are our 32 stitches, and just like with the arm, we are going to continue our spiral by doing a single crochet, single crochet, and then an increase, another single crochet, and another increase, 2 single crochets, 1, 2, followed by an increase, and 2 more single crochets, followed by our last increase. Finish that off with a slip stitch. Trim our yarn, leaving a longer tail to sew it on with. And that is the leg. So we have our arm and our leg, and then I've pre-made another arm and a leg so that we are ready to assemble this little guy. So we're going to grab our yarn needle. I'm going to start with the legs. You can start in whichever order you prefer. So when you're getting ready to put the legs on, just keep in mind where the seam comes across. You'll probably want that towards the back so that when you stitch the eyes on, it won't be cutting through the middle of his face. So I'm going to go ahead and just turn this towards the bottom. And right here, you can see the center of the bottom. So I'm just going to place this on either side of that center and just stitch around all 8 of the stitches. And you don't need to stuff the arms or the legs or anything like that. They're kind of just little flat pieces that are fun for kids to play with. If you made him in cotton instead of acrylic, he might actually make a great teether option. I know I've made an octopus or two that were designed like that out of cotton, and my kids loved them. Just having the little tentacles, or in this case arms and legs, to kind of gnaw on seemed to be a nice feature. Alright, so there's leg 1. Go ahead and tie that part off right there. And again, we're going to weave our tail in just by poking that through. Trimming that. Squish it around a little to hide the tail. So there's one leg. And we'll go ahead and add the other. So again, flip them upside down a little bit. Place the leg on the other side of the center. You can tell where your center is because you'll see a little bit of a knot there. And these don't have to be placed perfectly for the most part, as long as they are on opposite sides of the center and relatively perpendicular to where the front of his face will be. Nobody will pay that close of attention to the exact positioning of these legs. There is the second leg. I'm going to go ahead and weave that in. So there we have our 2 legs. Now, oh, sorry, have them backwards there. You can see the seam there. There, now we have our 2 legs. Now we're going to add the arms. So on the original here, you can kind of see we've lined it up pretty close to having the seam in the same spot. It doesn't really make too much of a difference when it comes to the arm positioning. What I do like to keep an eye on is how many stitches I have between them. So we have approximately 1, 2, 3 stitches between the fronts of his arms. So I'm just going to kind of keep that in mind when I'm making this one. But again, the exact positioning of his arms is not going to be a huge issue as long as they're, relatively spaced out evenly from the center line. Will be all right. So there's our first arm. Go ahead and grab the second one. Place it on the opposite side here. Alright, so far we have our arms, we have our legs. He's almost looking like a little Grinch now. What we're going to do next is add the eyes. So if we look at our original, the eyes are approximately 3 stitches apart, and they are between rows 4 and 5. So if you take your yarn, get it on your needle, we're going to go ahead and count down. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be in this little line here. We're going to say, okay, we've got 1, 2, 3 stitches. This is pretty much the center line. So we're going to be looking at right here and right here. And we have them slanted slightly down over that row 4. So we're going to point this one up this way. So if you see how that works out, it gives them just a little bit of a devious look. I think maybe instead of having slanting eyebrows of disapproval, we'll have his little eyes do the slight inward slant there. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and tuck that first tail back. Trim that one. And then we're going to go ahead and add the second eye before we take our yarn off of this needle. So we've got a couple stitches over, 2, 3. So with the way that we're slanting both of these out, at the bottom of the eyes we have 2 stitches in between. At the top we have 3 stitches in between. We're going to go ahead and tie that there. And what we're doing is we're just poking this needle right in that same stitch that we're bringing the black yarn out of to hide those tails. And you just pull on it a little extra and it'll actually pull that knot right into the back of your, or the inside of your project, so that you won't see the knot for that either. Go ahead and trim that tail. Now we can take the black yarn off of our needle. What I like to do is I like to put the needle right back in there again before tucking this little tail in here. There we go. Poke that through. There. One eye's tail's completely hidden. Now we'll do the same on the other side. So again, poke it right through the same hole that you brought the first tail through. And thread the tail onto the needle. Find a stitch in the back to bring it out of. Pull that through. And try not to pull too tight because you don't want your eyes to get pulled too far into the project. So right now we have the eyes, we have our arms and legs. We're still missing just a little bit of something though. So I'm not sure if you can tell very well on this one anymore, but there is a slight indent right here that gives him just kind of the little chunky cheeks that makes that face shape really pop. And so what I did to make that happen is I took a scrap piece from trimming the tails off of the legs, and I just wove that onto a needle. And let's see, I went from the back of the neck. I'm not sure if you can see it really very well there, but basically went through the back of the neck and went to where I wanted my nose and brought that out. It's about a row below the eyes, but in the center. So you bring that out and then you go just one stitch over, push that back in, and find the stitch on the back of the neck right next to that. And then what you're going to do, see, as you pull on the string in the back, it kind of squishes that down, gives him his little Grinch shaped face. So we're going to take that and we're going to do a square knot. So the first half of the square knot is tied. I'm going to go ahead and figure out how far in I want that pulled. Fairly tight. And then do the other half of the square knot to make sure that it stays. And then what I did for this part was I brought the tails right up to not the very center stitch, but the stitch right behind that on the back of his head. So I brought it right here. So I brought one tail up, and then I came back down, got this part added in here. There we go. And brought that out the same spot. So now not only do we have our nose set up, we're also going to do that a little bit and then pull these apart a little bit to give him just a little bit of a floof at the top of his head. There. And you can play around with how floofy you want to make this. I know some people will use like pet brushes or slicker brushes to make stuff a little bit more fuzzy. I think I'm going to trim it down just a little bit. Those are a little bit taller than I prefer on mine. But there, now we have the Grinch toy. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. as well as if you have any tutorials you'd like to see me do in the future, feel free to comment those as well. Thanks for watching.